Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Magazine Dreams, and this is from writer-director Elijah Bynum, and this film stars Jonathan Majors as a up-and-coming amateur bodybuilder who's Killian Maddox, who's desperately trying to make it big and battling his body dysmorphia, his inner demons, his mental health issues, and a laundry list of other things as he's trying to navigate the world around him, trying to make human connection, and desperately pining to his idol bodybuilder. And this film works because of a few very specific pieces. First off, Jonathan Majors goes completely committed to this performance. There's so many layers and choices and details to his performance, from his facial reactions to his body language to his just presence that he brings to this film, swinging from so many different emotions. We see him so nervous with Haley Bennett's character, who's a fellow worker at a grocery store, and like vulnerability in that moment of like asking her out for the first time, but then seeing this disconnected, intense, isolated obsession pouring out of him, which alienates her and so many people around him, him losing his control and bursting out in rage, and the physicality that he brings to the performance. This film is impeccably directed. Bynum really understands how to engulf you in the feel and atmosphere of this film. And I do feel like it gets a little too far in terms of some of its choices narratively, and I think Bynum loses a little bit in terms of handling the tone of the film. But overall, the suspense, the tension, you are on edge throughout this whole entire film, whether it's because of Bynum's direction and building up that tension, and also Majors, whose just sheer force of his performance is going to put you on edge. You have Adam Archipel, who is the cinematographer. This is gorgeous and textured and rich in terms of its colors and its shadows and all of those elements that really come together to make this such a visually compelling film to watch. And Jason Hill's score just builds that foundation of feeling and emotion and tension, and how it's building throughout this film. It is unnerving to watch. And you have some good supporting turns thrown in there. You have people like Taylor Page, who plays a sex worker who has a very uncomfortable interaction with Maddox. Like I mentioned, Bennett's Jesse and their date, which is such an uncomfortable sequence. Harriet Sampson Harris, who plays his, I think, therapist, who's, their dynamic is so complicated because you have Killian, who just lies and has this warped perception of things. I do feel after a while, narratively though, this feels like too many just strung along sequences together, and after a while it's just like, where's the narrative thrust? Where's this going? And it does start heightening up at times, but this 2-hour film feels like there's decent chunks of it where it's just like scene, scene, scene. And it struggles to really tell an overarching, compelling story, but it has interesting storytelling elements. Like, you have Killian writing these letters to Michael O'Hearn's Brad Vanderhorn, who's like his idol, and that dynamic, how it grows. And then you just have so many themes and ideas that it's trying to tackle, from body dysmorphia to isolated toxic masculinity and how that can manifest, and so many different elements that it just feels a bit overwhelming trying to navigate exactly what this is all trying to say. But there's a lot of great elements to it. A lot of it feels like it's throwing everything at the wall and trying to see what sticks, and it can just be overstuffed in terms of ideas and narrative elements, but isolated sequences throughout this film are killer and just impeccably directed, impeccably acted. And there's so many moments where you'll be put on edge, intense moments that just will last with you for long after the runtime. This film has a lot going for it for sure. But those are my thoughts on Magazine Dreams. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.